Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Newcastle 2, Chelsea 2. A good point for Chelsea, a bad point for Liverpool is my take. But look, straight away, we're back there again, aren't we? They go away for a couple of weeks and then they come back, ruining football as usual. The PGMOL. That is a disgrace of a decision in that Newcastle game. And it's cost Newcastle the win. Because across the game, I think Newcastle were the better team and they missed a lot of chances. So they've only got themselves to blame. But that doesn't sweep under the carpet what a shocking decision that was. It's clearly a very stupid thing by Chalobah to do. And you sort of look at it and go, well, it can't be a penalty because nothing was going to happen. But he's fouled him. He's literally ran into him, put his leg across him and knocked him to the ground. And anywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul. And I understand that the referee on the pitch hasn't probably seen it or whatever or thinks it's a shoulder barge. But that's what VAR is for. And you know, slow-mo it, fast play it, watch it 3 times. Every time I watched it, I must admit, when I watched it live, I was like, Anthony Gordon's hurt there, but it looks like a shoulder barge. Soon as you watch the replay, you're like, well, I'm sorry, that's a foul. Whether you want to class it as soft, unnecessary, stupid, whatever, it's a foul. Like, no, not even a Chelsea fan can look at that and go, you wouldn't want that next week against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. You would want that. Everybody would want that. I'm not blaming Chelsea. I'm not blaming Newcastle. This is the PGMOL again, inexplicably ruining the Premier League because they're idiots. They're absolutely terrible at their job. I mean, what other word is there for it? Idiots. You are absolutely crap at your job. You're rubbish at your job. You are incompetent at your job. Like, that's what your job is. Referee on the pitch, fine. It's not his problem. But you're watching it like we are. And like, the vast majority of people are saying that's a penalty, and then you with the control get it wrong. So you're crap at your job. It's abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And Newcastle, where they are in the league, they can't afford for those types of decisions. Look, Chelsea, great. They get the second goal, 2-2, they get a point. Newcastle cannot afford to be drawing that game. They're already in the bottom half of the table. They need that win. And you've deprived them the opportunity of winning it with your own incompetence. And it becomes tiresome because we go into games and we're going, it's not just 2 teams against each other. It's 2 teams against each other. And who's going to get screwed over by the PGMOL this week? It's just absolutely abysmal. Abysmal. The only way that's fine is if VAR doesn't exist. But as soon as you've got the replay, it's shocking, absolutely shocking. And their justification that it's 2 players going for the same ball and it's a shoulder barge, well, it's not 2 players going for the same ball, is it? Because Anthony Gordon's closer to the ball, and if he wants to cross it, he can do. And Chalobah just comes charging across, whacks into him with body and leg, nowhere near the ball, only intent on playing the player. It's a foul. And if that was on the centre circle, it would be a foul, and it might even be a bloody yellow card because it's a bit over the top, to be honest. So, yeah, look, sympathy with Newcastle, sympathy with Chelsea, because you always feel like when those decisions happen, you have to go, yes. You almost have to defend the incompetence. If that happened at Villa Park tomorrow and we got away with it, I'd have to find a way to go, well, at the end of the day, he does touch him with his shoulder. But you know deep down it's going to happen to you next week. It's a sad indication of the Premier League that we have to factor in crap officiating to the game we love. Because it's a brilliant game. I really did. I mean, I don't know what Newcastle fans will think. You probably feel a bit like we did when everyone said it was a brilliant game between Bournemouth and United. But you should have won, and you'll be annoyed. But the actual game was good. It was end to end. It was very open. I think Newcastle were the better team, and they deserved to win. But Chelsea will be over the moon with a point. I thought Reece James and Bruno Guimaraes were the 2 best players on the pitch. And I thoroughly enjoyed the game. And look, without the penalty, Harvey Barnes should score 2. Voltemada should have got his hat-trick. I don't think Chelsea had the chances that Newcastle had to win the game. And Newcastle should have won the game. And maybe that's why they're in the bottom half of the table, because there's just something not quite right about Newcastle at the moment. Even Elanga at the end, why he doesn't slip Harvey Barnes in? It's just, decision-making, poor finishing, whatever you want to call it. But for Chelsea, look, that at half-time, that's looking like Leeds again. That's looking like question marks. And look, I think we can understand why Chelsea won't win the league this year. People a few weeks ago were talking about Chelsea being title contenders. I think we can understand why they're not title contenders. Same thing happened last year. They're in touching distance. and then they start dropping silly points. And if you want to be title contenders, you've got to go and win those types of games, and they're quite fortunate to get out with a draw. So Chelsea aren't ready to win titles at the moment. And look, my same question to Chelsea fans and their ownership is the same one it's been for a couple of years. Why don't you bring in a couple of players who are like mid to late 20s? Like, why don't you bring a bit of experience in? Because at centre-back, I think you could do with an experienced centre-back. Up front, I think you could do with an experienced striker. And I think you'll stop having these yo-yo results because you'll actually have the experience for these sort of games that you seem to be lacking. And look, Reece James is probably the most experienced player in that Chelsea side. And surprise, surprise, it's his wonderful free kick that gets you back in it. And surprise, surprise, he's your man of the match. I think you need a couple more players like that. This Chelsea model of buying young, I mean, when's it going to pay off? Because if they don't learn to win, they're just going to become players in their mid-20s that didn't learn to win. And I think that this is why the John Terrys, the Frank Lampards, even the Thiago Silvas are so important. But Chelsea don't seem to be running to that model or playing to that tune. So maybe they will grow into a title-winning team. They've got some fantastic players, but I think Newcastle deserve to win it across the game. But a good point for Chelsea. And obviously they've got Villa just after Christmas now, which will become a big game for them as well. And look, Chelsea probably will just about hold on to top four heading into Christmas. So, you know, they are about where they want to be. But I just feel like Chelsea are missing something. That's what I'm trying to say. I still look at that Chelsea side, and with everybody's back, I think you still miss something unless everybody grows into this experienced, dominant side, which I don't know. I don't know about that. I think you've got to have a mix. As for Newcastle, as I said, you've got to dust yourself down and go again because you're Man United on Boxing Day. And I think if they were to lose that, which fingers crossed, obviously, from my point of view, you will, 1 point from 9 and firmly in the bottom half of the table, I think there's questions asked about a team that shouldn't be there. I mean, I look at that Newcastle side and you should be in the top 6 and you're not. And yes, you should have won today, but lose or even draw against United at Old Trafford on Boxing Day. And I think the questions really do start to get asked of Eddie Howe, and I think he's unlucky today. I really, really do. But look, as I said, fantastic game. Let me know your thoughts. I'm tired. I'm tired of the PGMOL. I think they're a disgrace, and you know what? My message to Howard Webb is, get on with Michael Owen and justify it. But, mate, you're running a terrible organisation. And I think anybody who knows football could make the changes that need to happen, and you just won't do it. This dictatorship of destroying the Premier League, it's just so, so ignorant. It's so, read the room, understand the game. That's not a shoulder barge, it's a foul. It's a stupid challenge. It's a foul. And you could even argue that Reece James should have been sent off at the end as well. But to be honest with you, I think with half an hour to go, I think that's a very contentious decision. With 10 seconds to go, do you want him to see him sent off? No, I don't. But there we go. Get your comments in. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and we're back for Liverpool at 5:30. Speak to you all in a bit. Take care.